know a lot of people are excited about this. This is all about the product portion of it, okay? So ultimately, this portion right here is what allows you to scale the most, okay? We really, our goal is to write at least 3 policies per client. And Tom mentioned it, it leads to retention, and it ultimately is gonna allow you to scale faster and grow faster. I mean, you think about it, is it easier to write 3 policies per 1 client, or is it easier to get 3 clients? Okay, it's easier to write 3 policies with 1 client. So that's what we're always trying to do, is package and really maximize each client through offering different products. So we have a process, and Tyler, what's the verbiage? Where'd Tyler go?
Right here.
Consistent process.
Consistent results.
Okay, consistent process yields consistent results. So we have a very consistent process that yields us very consistent results. And again, I encourage this part, let's have an open conversation about this if you have questions. So here's our client needs assessment. And I'll read these out loud on each one and kind of how we go through these. But I really believe heavily, if you're not doing a client needs assessment or some type of intake form, you need to be doing that. Okay, so this is our consistent process. Every agent is required to present this during their appointment. Okay, and we ask about what I think of this as the permission slip. Okay, it's permission for us to ask for the product later. We're bringing it up so we can address it later on in our presentation. Okay, so we're talking about cancer, we're talking about skilled nursing, we're talking about life insurance, we're talking about retirement, all within this one form here. And the relationship it builds with your client, you become like a doctor. Okay, when you go to the doctor's office, what do? They start by asking you a series of questions. Okay, and this is what that does. It creates that doctor-patient relationship. So when I start here, I'm going to say, hey, Broderick, let's keep the Broderick picking going. Hey, Broderick, every time we meet with one of our clients, we go through a formal process, a client needs assessment. It helps me get a better idea of your individual picture and allows me to make the right recommendations based on your needs. Okay? And that's how I'm going to start every single presentation. And then I'm just going to have some general questions here. I'm going to get their full name, date of birth, all that stuff. And then I'm just going to say, Broderick, tell me about your health history. Have you had any claims in the last couple of years? Are you taking any medications? Are there any doctors that you're wanting to see? And like Tom said, I'm just going to sit on my hands and shut up. Okay? I just want to get them talking. I want the information, as much information as possible. Moving on to the second question, I'm going to say, Broderick, tell me about your current insurance. What company is it with? How much are you paying for it? Okay? And what's your experience been there? Again, shut up. The best thing you can do is ask the question clearly and just shut up. Okay? Moving on down, I just want to get an idea of where he's at in his Medicare journey. Broderick, do you have any knowledge about Medicare or Medicare Advantage? Again, just let them go. Okay? Next one here. Here's where we get into the cross-selling portion of it. Broderick, do you have any experience with cancer, heart attack, stroke, whether that's personal or family? Do you know anybody with it? Just see if I can get some pain points there. Okay? Starting that conversation more than anything. Working my way down. This one's big here. Okay? We've been writing a lot of skilled or recovery care, home care lately, and this is the question. Okay? Tell me about your experience, do you know how Medicare handles skilled nursing or home care? That's it. Just want to see where they're at with skilled nursing and home care. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, no, I have no idea. And I'll say, hey, that's fine. Most people don't, and we're going to come back to that after we get into the Medicare stuff. I just wanted to see if you're aware of that, but long story short, Medicare only covers up to 100 days in the skilled nursing care. After that, you're on your own. Set the stage to come back to it later on in your presentation. Okay? Next one here, and I'll be the first one to say we don't do a lot of light production, but when we start asking this question, I feel like 50% of the time we ask this question. We're not perfect with it, but when we do, we always have reception. It's a great open enrollment question too. Do you carry any life insurance? Super simple. Yes or no? How much are you paying for that life insurance? What carrier is it with? And is it a permanent product or a temporary product? Okay? Just gathering information. And then this one kind of ties in with there. Have you taken care of your final expenses? I'll ask that if we touch a pain point there. Last one here. This is exactly how we transition into retirement and annuities within our appointments. Every single one of our agents asks this question at the end of our CNA, and it's very simple. We're just saying, hey, obviously you're making a major transition in your healthcare right now. You're going on to Medicare for the first time. It's extremely confusing. Oftentimes we see a lot of people transitioning in the retirement picture as well. Okay? A lot of people aren't making as much money as they were before, or maybe you have some 401ks or IRAs that are moving with you. Do you have any retirement accounts that you're transitioning, or have any retirement accounts you're unhappy with? Again, shut up. Okay? And if our agents are taught right now, if there is something within that question right there, that I am a retirement guy. So it's a nice setup, whereas we separate the Medicare from the retirement. Okay? All the retirement comes to me, and it becomes more of like a dentist feel, right? You start with your hygienist, and then the dentist comes in, recommends a couple things, and leaves. Okay? It kind of sets the stage and elevates your presence a little bit. So we've have a lot of success in that area there. Any questions on the CNA? Yes?
You mentioned something about open enrollment and the life insurance. Maybe I'm confused.
Yeah.
What was that? You said.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So, how many people are doing reviews during open enrollment, AEP? Okay.
I'll try not to.
If you're not, I firmly believe that's where we cross-sell the most. And that's what I meant by that, Michael, is we're coming back to that question in open enrollment. And I feel like we have a lot more success with the current client asking about life insurance during open enrollment. We also write a lot of home care in open enrollment. We're talking about prescriptions. Okay, GTL has a nice product that gives you a prescription reimbursement. And a big philosophy you and I have always had, Michael, is they buy from you once, they're going to buy from you twice. And that's a great time to go back to your client. They've had you for a year now. They're comfortable with you. They trust you. Okay, again, they buy from you once, they'll buy from you twice. So if you're not using open enrollment to cross-sell, package, to ask for different things, then I really think you're missing the boat there. What we also need to understand is needs are always changing. So a cancer product may not have been as important to you a year ago, but things have changed. Okay, personal experiences, life experiences change, and you think differently about that product now. And that's what we see 9 times out of 10. It's not so much that they trust you more, it's their experiences have changed. The way they feel about these things has changed. So just because a couple of years ago they didn't want it, doesn't mean a couple of years later they don't want it now. Okay? And I always talk about the story of the agent that didn't offer life insurance to a client. The client passed away, the son came in and said, hey, do you offer life insurance? Agent said, yeah. Well, why didn't you sell it to my mother-in-law? Not mother-in-law. Any other questions here? Okay. Flow chart. So I think this is one of the best charts we have, and this is what our culture breeds. I didn't even create this. One of our agents created this. He said, Chase, I've listened to everything you said, and I created a flow chart. And I feel like if we check every box on this flow chart, then we're going to have a great appointment. And this is just what I've been preaching for the last 12 months, and he turned it into a checklist. And I firmly believe that if you check every box on this flow chart, you are going to have an amazing appointment. Okay, first one here, build rapport. We all know what that is. Weather, city, work. Don't talk about the weather. Try to take that one out. Ask what they want to get out of the appointment. This is huge. Okay? We also start every appointment. If I'm with Broderick in an appointment, I say, hey Broderick, so happy you booked this appointment, booked this call. Really, it's all about you today. Okay? What are you trying to get out of today's meeting? What's important to you? I need to understand what is important to my client. If I don't understand what's important to my client, well, I'm just talking about things that I think are important, and I truly don't understand that client. Everybody knows the Zig Ziglar saying, you help enough people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. Okay? We've got to understand the person in front of us before we move anywhere into the appointment. Okay? CNA, we talked about that. Answer the questions. Okay? One thing we always like to do, especially when you're starting to cross-sell for the first time, is we like to make up for our lack of knowledge or our lack of confidence in the product by over-explaining, okay? Or over-talking about things. Cannot say enough. Answer the questions that are asked and don't ramble on about things that you think are important to the client. Again, the client is telling you what's important to them. Close that door, move on. Don't go open other doors, okay? Go over MA and supplement. One thing I firmly believe in here too, and is if a client comes to you and says, I want a Medicare supplement, do not walk them off the ledge and start talking about MAs, okay? A confused buyer does not buy. And I think a lot of times as agents, we confuse the buyer, and that's why they don't buy. So again, we've got to understand our client, and make sure we're catering that appointment to them. Always make a recommendation. So I'll use Jack as an example. Jack was our agent of the year last year. He had a slower start to the beginning of the year. He's killing it now. He had a slower start, and we were trying to figure out what was the difference. And Jack is like, I'm having these hour appointments, and they're just not buying it then. And eventually we concluded, I said, are you making a recommendation? And he said, well, not really, I'm just setting a second appointment. And that's one of our big rules, is always make a recommendation. At the end of the call, you should be saying, my formal recommendation is you do this. Whether it's my formal recommendation is you buy XYZ, or my formal recommendation is we set a second call for X date. Okay? They came to you, you are the professional, set a formalized appointment. Future appointments, okay, that goes with the recommendation there. Clear on that? Mm-hmm. Clear as mud? Mm-hmm.
No.
So, really important here. We've done the CNAs, it's kind of backwards, okay? So, a lot of our clients watch the webinar beforehand, but let's just say you did a CNA first and now you're going to the Medicare 101. You've got to present the cancer coverage or the heart and stroke coverage in your Medicare 101. Because if you go back, okay, I've done my Medicare presentation, and I'm making a recommendation for a Medicare or an MA, and I'm saying, by the way, we always recommend this cancer plan. Well, why didn't you talk about it beforehand? It becomes a backwards order of operations. It's got to be before you ask for the purchase, okay? So we have this in all of our presentations. We always recommend cancer, heart, and stroke. We call it critical illness at times, okay? And long story short is Medicare will not cover all of your expenses for these illnesses, okay? And we can go back and forth about this all day long, but I can give you numerous examples of numerous medications that our clients had a Plan G and were not covered, and they're paying hundreds of dollars out of pocket for these. Eliquis, Xarelto, and Entresto. Anytime you have a heart-related deal, you're getting put on one of those. A couple $100s a month, okay? Non-Medicare approved treatments, adjustments to your life. I mean, let me put it this way. We've delivered a lot of cancer, heart attack, and stroke checks. No one has sent it back, okay? No one has said, I wish I didn't purchase this. Same with skilled nursing. So we insert this into our presentations. Okay, it's very important, and all that I want the client to see is after 100 days, Medicare is not going to cover anything for skilled nursing. They've got to understand that. And once they understand that, I believe that's the most important coverage we offer. Okay, it's skilled nursing and home care. And this is right from your Medicare handbook. Note your doctor or their healthcare provider may recommend services more often than Medicare covers. And just understanding, get your client to understand how important these coverages are. I'm telling you, if they understand this, they will buy this. By far the most important. Covers hundreds of thousands of dollars of exposure for under $100 a month. And we go ahead and we insert the Medicare handbook in there of the skilled nursing portion so we can show them, we can add some credibility to that presentation. Umbrella packaging. So Hunter and I have collaborated a lot on this. We've been doing all this, but Hunter put this in an actual package. We call everything umbrellas. So everybody, a lot of people probably have a personal umbrella on themselves. When you think of an umbrella, okay, it covers everything over top of you and protects those holes, those gaps. So we package umbrella coverage. It's not, hey, do you want umbrella coverage? It's which one do you want? Okay? We have people all the time that just pick an umbrella package. And at the end of the day, you're going to pick an umbrella of some sort, okay? And that's packaged in there. So we believe a lot in packaging.
Jason, I like how you use the word umbrella there. That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Instead of webinars, we call them workshops, okay? It's all about finding words that don't sound salesy, okay? And conceptually, we can all understand.
Hey Chase.
Yes.
On that last screen right there.
Yeah.
Just go through how you would, if you're right to that point, how you lay those out, just like you're talking to us, like we're your customer.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing is we laminate this and print it out for our in-person appointments, okay? When you think about it, you go to McDonald's, right? And they say you want small, medium, large, Starbucks, okay? And you're always, we're mentally taught to pick from an option, okay? Supersize me, that McDonald's show. So we're going through this. We always recommend umbrella 3, but if something on there is not as important to you, we can scale it back, or if it's a budgetary issue. So if John's with me in an appointment, I'm saying, hey John, we went over everything today, so based on what we talked about, I'm going to recommend a Medicare supplement with the umbrella 3 package, okay? And in that umbrella 3 package, you're going to have your Medicare coverage, your critical illness, your dental, vision, hearing, and your home care, nursing home care. So in this package right here, we put skilled nursing and home care together inside of that. So essentially, you're gonna have about a year of home care, a year of skilled nursing care. The average time in a facility is 2.5 to 3 years. We're getting almost all of that covered for right around $100 a month. I mean, again, I could preach all day on how important this is. This eliminates so much exposure. But again, some people, it may not be as important to, so we're moving to package 2, and I'm telling you, almost everybody is gonna at least buy package 1, just because that's what we're taught in this society is to pick from a small, medium, or large.
I like it.
So retirement planning, same thing. In our webinars, our seminars, we insert a couple slides just to set the stage that we offer these products. So again, at the very end, just saying, hey, our name is Health and Wealth. We do retirement planning as well. A lot of you guys are transitioning in your health insurance life. With that, we see a lot of financial transition as well. So I want to make sure you guys know we offer that. That's the last question on our CNA there. And then here are the slides we're going to use. So I'm going to say, hey, we deal exclusively with safe money planning, and we see a lot of 401ks, IRAs, SEPs, market-driven accounts. Maybe you just got some cash in the bank. Whatever it is, we see it all. Okay, and what we do with that is we provide principal protection, guaranteed growth, index growth, and ultimately income if you need it. So just like that, it's a minute that I spend talking about that. Just to set the stage so everything's congruent. Presentation to CNA to recommendation, step by step by step, we're making our transitions. Last thing here, I always like to talk about myself at the beginning. Hopefully you guys learned something. There's my family there, there's my why. Been traveling a lot lately, so I get to take them with me in this way. If you need to get a hold of us, there's all our information. I put a lot of free content out on social media channels. That's been just a passion of mine, is just teaching and preaching. So appreciate it. Love talking about this stuff. If you can't tell, if you get me cornered, I'll start talking about this for hours. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we're going to go to a break again. But before we do, kind of like we did yesterday, if you're a golfer, you're signed up for golf today, be right up here in this corner, kind of get some guidelines going. And if you're boating, back here in the corner, and then we'll hook back